Welcome back to Classic Recapped. Today I am going to explain a horror and adventure movie called King of Snakes, 2019. Be ready for some spoilers are ahead. The movie starts with Lao Ma and a boy in the jungle catching snakes. Lao Ma catches a snake and tells the boy that it's too expensive. They are chatting and walking when suddenly something drags the boy, and later he falls dead. Lao Ma gets terrified but soon finds himself in a scary situation when faced by a giant python. The next moment, the python kills the man too. In the next scene, we see a train with many passengers, including a group of army personnel. Ma Xiaoyang tried to develop a relationship with Jing Lan with little success. A soldier sitting by the window sees a huge snake outside, vanishing in a blink. We see Mu Sheng entering the compartment selling snake bone wine. As Jing Lan looks out the window, she notices fewer trees on the mountains. At the same time, we see a snake crawling on Ma Xiaoyang's back. It is about to bite him when Mu Sheng saves him. Mu Sheng is a very skilled snake catcher. He is the descendant of the Snake King from Yamen village. The little boy calls him the famous Little Snake King and says he admires him greatly. Jing Lan introduces herself. She seems happy to see him, tells him that it's been a while since they met, and tries to shake their hand. Mu Sheng says his hands are dirty and she should excuse him. He turns away without saying anything. Meanwhile, the train stops suddenly in the middle of nowhere. They all get confused when they hear something on the train roof. They get terrified. The light started blinking. When something pulls her up, a lady looks outside the window and her blood is spilled on the window. We can see them scared and worried. Before they can figure out anything, snakes start crawling in from everywhere and bite people. They try to escape and run outside. Little do they know that it is more dangerous out. The land outside is filled with snakes. It's complete chaos. It was impossible to lose them. Being an expert snake hunter, Mu Sheng had an idea and asked everyone to open garlic available in a carton and throw it on the train floor. After one moment of relief, they hear something banging on the compartment door. Soon we see a double-headed python breaking the train compartment's door. It's gigantic and scary. The passenger gets scared and starts running, wanting to escape with little success. The python kills many while others take refuge in another compartment. Python was strong and was making forceful strikes to break the door. They tried to block its way using luggage but failed. Python passed the heap of luggage like rubbles. Soon it smashes the door and starts preying on the passengers and killing them. As the army men start shooting the python, Mu Sheng sees firefighting machines nearby. As the water finishes, they decide to retreat and go to the train roof. They reach on the train top and start walking towards the train engine. The temperature at the engine is hot, which keeps the snakes away, but the double-headed python follows them there as well. They climb down and Mu Sheng tells them to run towards the mountain. As they are running towards the mountain, a man falls. A lady comes to save him, but he throws her towards the python that kills her to save himself. They plan to keep the python away, but as they are about to light it up, they see Shen coming stumbling and calling for help with python after him. Mu Sheng rushes and brings him to this side. They light a fire using dry grass, alcohol, and matches, which blocks the python way. This gives them enough time to escape. They successfully lose the python and reach the forest. Sadly, many have snake bites already. Xiao Bao, a little boy, had a snake bite. Mu Sheng cuts the snake bite and starts draining the blood. Shen asks him to help first and he will pay him well. Mu Sheng ignores. Jing Lan asks Mu Sheng how they can cure them. He replies it's not possible to suck the blood out as it will make the tongue swallow. Jing Lan takes Mu Sheng's side and says that they would have died without him and his knowledge about python. They successfully escaped because of him. Soon they reach Mu Sheng's village and see everything is destroyed. Many are lying dead and hurt. The houses are abandoned. He rushes to his home but cannot find anyone there. The others reach the temple to see many still alive. Xiao Bao reunites with his mother, Azai, and Jing Lan meets her father. Her father tells her that they were attacked by a flock of venomous snakes last night. Mu Sheng comes looking for his mother and finds her in the temple. She tells him that she has many snake bites. They start asking for antidotes. Mu Sheng's mom tells them that the pot is almost ready. They start fighting about it when Azai tells them that the medicines are not effective anymore. As Shen drinks the medicine in haste, Azai tells him that it can prevent the poison from spreading for a little while. Jing Lan asks if there is any way to save these people. Mu Sheng tells her that only a serpent flower can save them, found in the Snake King Valley. Jing Lan's father adds that it's impossible to come back from that valley. Having no alternative, they want to get that flower. They set off on a voyage, and we see them on the raft. Ma Xiaoyang tries to flirt with Jing Lan with no response. He goes to the rafting side to attend a nature's call when a fish jumps out of the water and scares him. Suddenly a python attacks them and kills one. Aiming to kill the python, Zhang Weiguo cuts the raft rope, and everyone on it falls in the water. Azai hits the python with an arrow and scares it away. Everyone gets on another raft. Python is still circling them and waiting to attack. Ma Xiaoyang wants to throw a grenade towards the python to kill it. By mistake, it drops on the raft. They jump in the water and swim fast to save themselves. We see Mu Sheng's map of the snake village is all wet and destroyed. Now he has to follow his guts and find the way to the valley. They proceed reluctantly deep into the forest. They see a dead body killed by a snake bite on the way. While standing there, Ma Xiaoyang finds snake eggs near the body. He breaks them angrily. Ma Xiaoyang attends nature's call when a snake bites him on the butt. Mu Sheng suggests that it is critical to drain the blood. Otherwise, the poison will spread fast. Mu Sheng stops her and drains the blood as a tool as Ma Xiaoyang shouts with pain. Walking in the jungle, they reach a place where they see dead bodies hanging in the spiderweb. One of the soldiers starts shouting with horror when Azai tells him to stop as it will create a big problem if spiders are distributed. While they were trying to pass through quietly, one of the dead bodies falls, and the spiders get out in big numbers. They encircle them. They get terrified and start shooting randomly. We see many spiders attacking soldiers. Jing Lan wants to help, but he pushes her back. Soon we see the spider consuming his body. They escape and reach an old temple with a python statue. Mu Sheng tells everyone that he is a snake lord worshipped by the village people. 10 years back, the village was struck with a snake disaster on the snake festival, and the villagers stopped worshipping in this temple. Mu Sheng finds that she has a spider bite. He tells to boil the water and asks Jing Lan to sit in it. Azai prepares the water with needed herbs for Jing Lan. We see someone peeping from outside. At the same time, a snake crawls in a bucket. Jing Lan sees it and starts screaming. Mu Sheng picks a snake and throws it out. She speaks for him, telling everyone that he is not that type of a person. As Mu Sheng was leaving, Jing Lan stopped him as she was scared and wanted to talk to him. On the other hand, Mu Sheng intends to leave as he is fed up with his situation. He wanted some peace in his life. Meanwhile, Zhang Weiguo saw something in the window scaring everyone. All the candles are blown off and they become horrified. Something attacks them, but they can hardly see anything in the dark. They get scared and get back inside. In the snake temple, someone attacks them with a sharp needle. Mu Sheng comes as well, but they all get trapped. Mu Sheng escapes, saving Jing Lan. On reaching the room, he finds the bucket empty. She was not there. He finds a secret door and enters it. He flows the way which leads to a room with candles. He hears a voice coming from a wooden box. He tries to open it, but a dwarf man aims at him with a pointed weapon. Before he could hurt him, Ma Xiaoyang puts a gun on his head, and Mu Sheng helps Jing Lan out of the box. After that, Mu Sheng inquires about the dwarf, on which he replies that he is a snake hunter. Shen asks him if he knows where they can find the serpent flower. He tells them he knows everything about the place, but what will he get from it? They agreed to give him a share of the serpent flower. We see the double-headed python crawling. The dwarf takes them to a cave and they all quietly go inside. Over their heads, they see vampire bats hanging from the roof. They pass through them quietly and reach a deep ditch, which can only be crossed through a broken, old wooden bridge. They did not have any alternative, so they opted to cross through it. First, the dwarf crosses it, followed by Azai, who helps Zhang Weiguo and others cross it in small groups. Their conversation was waking up the vampires. At the same time, crossing, Azai stumbles and almost falls when Zhang Weiguo catches her. Shen stumbles too, and his bag falls, and he loses all his money. He crosses the bridge when the dwarf tells him that a serpent flower is costly. When it starts breaking, Ma Xiaoyang and Mu Sheng start cross the bridge. Not only that, the vampire bats start flying. They hold on to the bridge and sacrifice themselves for him, making him extremely sad and devastated. Here, the dwarf alarms them that the real danger is ahead. He is skeptical if they can survive it or not. Now they come across a crossroad in two ways. They decide to split into two groups and proceed. Mu Sheng leads one group and the dwarf leads the other. Mu Sheng finds a serpent flower, but to reach it they have to pass through another ditch filled with snakes. The snakes are mating, which may last a few days. It seems extremely dangerous, but Mu Sheng is willing to take the risk. Mu Sheng jumps to the other side, grabs a hanging rope, and starts climbing. The dwarf guides the other group to the python and hides. The python starts attacking them. Azai distracts it and shoots it with an arrow. Python throws her away. Python is about to attack one when Azai attacks it with her arrow. Python attacks her with full force and opens the exit. It gets hold of Azai and strangles her to death. She sacrifices herself for the others and asks him to care for her son. Mu Sheng gets hold of the serpent flower, but Shen tells him to bring more. He refuses as if the python notices it will come for revenge. The dwarf joins them and takes Jinglan to his gunpoint. He asks for all the serpent flowers from Mu Sheng. He has no option but to hand over the bag filled with serpent flowers. Shen asks for some flowers from him, but he refuses. Shen tries to snatch the bag from the dwarf, but he fires at him and he gets injured. Before the dwarf could escape, the python attacked and eats him. The bag falls into the ditch hanging by one rock. Shen tries to bring it up but fails and gets eaten by the snakes. Jinglan and Mu Sheng get hold of the bag and rush out of the cave. He takes out a grenade and stands in front of the python. He blows himself to save them but fails to kill the python. The python grabs Ma Yanjin. He fights back but gets hurt. When he asked her to tell his wife to name his son Young and dies, Jinglan comforted him. The python is about to attack Mu Sheng when Jinglan distracts her with a serpent flower. She runs and dodges the python. Apparently, she has lost the pythons, but she finds herself eye to eye with python when she turns. Mu Sheng comes and helps her escape. As the python follows the Mu Sheng tricks it to curl around the cave pillars and dare it with the serpent flower standing on its tail. The python attacks it and unknowingly bites its tail and hurts itself. Mu Sheng takes out his sword and chops its head off. The python dies. Mu Sheng, Zhang Weiguo, and Jinglan get out of the cave in the morning for the friends who lost their lives. The scene changes, and we see the villagers working in the field relaxed and happy. The move ends here. Thanks for watching.